Welcome back to another episode of Satisfactory, my fellow friends. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. In our last episode, we did some nitrogen. We also worked on our factory, which we're looking at right now, which I can say finally has a roof. Well, this is the ultimate plan for steel. We need to make these three products. We're going to do it this way. Today's episode, we're going to go in and we're going to upgrade to minor Mark IIIs, which requires us to make turbo motors. Unfortunately, the first recipe, the default recipe, uses cooling systems. We're going to avoid that and having to avoid using nitrogen gas by using the alternative recipe for turbo motors, which use control rods. We're going to do that. That'll allow us to make the motors, which allows us to make the minor Mark IIIs, which allows us to upgrade 3 coal nodes and 3 iron ore nodes. And using some alternate recipes, we're going to produce quite a lot for ultimately 3,480 steel ingots per minute. So if we take a look back here, we're going to bring in about 2,320 coal, 2,320 iron ore, 1,250 iron ore, which is going to make 2,320 pure iron. And we're going to use the pure iron ingot recipe, which combines water and ore in a refinery. And then later on, not in this episode, but in the next episode after that, we're going to get into the wet concrete, which takes limestone and water. And we're going to combine all those things in to make steel encased beams, or encased industrial beams. Today's episode, we're really just focusing right here. We want to get to this. We want to be producing 3,480 steel ingots per minute. So let's get on with the episode. So on stream, which you can find us at twitch.tv/boombangcrash, we've been working on doing a design for our steel plant. So this is the current setup we're going to be using for putting the ingots together. And as you can see, we're using an alternate recipe called solid steel ingots, which uses 40 iron ingots per minute instead of ore and coal. And then that basically turns 40 into 60, which is 1.5, so 150% yield on a single iron ore. And then when you combine it with the pure iron ingots, it even increases from there. So it's quite efficient. For pure iron, this is going to be our setup. It's all kind of beautified and it's set up around the max belt speed. So we're going to recreate this several times on this floor. And as you can see, we've set out a large platform and an area dedicated towards all things steel. In the lower left there, you have a tower that's going to bring the resources up, including water, coal, and ingots. And then everything else will be laid out on those 2 floors for manufacturing. All right, I've set up a couple manufacturers. Actually, one manufacturer, one assembler. We're making the electromagnetic control rods here, which is just, they're just going. So we can make ourselves some turbo motors using a manufacturer down the road here. Now you can make it by hand. It is possible, but it uses the other recipe. I figured since I had actually just a ton of these resources available, may as well go ahead and manufacture it a slightly different way. Regardless, you do need a radio control unit as far as I can recall in both recipes. If we go ahead and look here, down by the turbo motor, which is almost the bottom here, either case you need motors and radio control units. We're just eliminating the need for cooling system, which you can't manufacture that by hand. You need the nitrogen. So as far as I recall, yes. So no matter what, this is the better recipe for us. So anyways, we're very close. We have probably enough already to manufacture. So let me go ahead and set up this manufacturer and repurpose it for the turbo motors. And why bother wait? We may as well just set up another manufacturer and actually just output our production line directly into another manufacturer using this fantastically built belt line that absolutely will stay forever. Anyways, we've got everything just hooked up real quick. We overdrove it. We're going to be producing about 7 per minute, which actually, why I did this right now is because while we need them for the minor Mark IIIs, I was like, you know what? We should probably just get 100 in the bank because we're going to need them. All right, we're back again. And this time we got a little special surprise. We finally get to push the last shiny red button.
Milestone reached. The particle accelerator enables previously impossible processes, such as recycling nuclear waste and converting it into plutonium, as well as the generation of exotic matter. A new project part enables progress to the next phase.
Nice. All right, we're back, and we just finished our water setup, which will produce 2,400 water per minute, which is a little bit more than the 1950 that we're going to need for this project, but it allows for a little bit of future expansion. Each of the rows is 600 even, and each of the pipes is 600, so it works out beautifully. We're now going to bring that up the tower. As the water comes up the tower, which we built, it heads on over to the manufacturing space over here, which is nice. So we have it coming across and then up this nice tower, and then it runs over nice and neat. We have extra expansion space, which is great. And then it flows over into our factory over there. All right, so this setup is really nice. It is basically 36 times 65, producing 2,340 iron ingots per minute using the wet concrete, not wet, but pure iron ingot recipe. And you can see here it takes in 35 and 20 and produces 65 per minute. So we're maximizing the output belt down here at 780. So essentially these 12 refineries produce 780 ingots per minute, and we've replicated that 3 times. We came up with a nice little design here. The belts go up right here at the end, and we've got that 3 times. They go up to the next floor up. On the top floor, we're taking coal, and we're taking those iron ingots, and then we're producing 60 steel ingots per minute. And on here, we actually have 58 of these furnaces cranking away. So if we take that, and actually we have room for, it actually should be 58.5, but we're doing 58 for now. So 58 times 60 produces the 3,480 steel ingots per minute. So we hit the number we wanted to achieve, and we have basically, I think it's 29 down this side and 29 down that side. And they're split up underneath because of obviously belt speeds. So we've just kind of brought up the 3 feeds for the iron ingots and 3 feeds for coal, and that all happens kind of underneath here. It's mostly clean. I'm just tidying up a few things here and there, but as you can see, the setup down here is as such, is we have the 3 main lines. Here's the coal line coming in. We'll bring coal, we'll bring in the iron. We then just split them off in the back side here. So we run a line of 19 down the front here, 19 down the front here, and then alternate down here, another 19 on the back side. And that's why these are split the way they are. Some iron ingots go across to the other belt line, same with the coal. And basically the return lines are in here. Now, right now these are backed up because we actually need a 5th return line to accommodate all of the steel ingots. But instead of connecting that and sinking it, I'm just gonna leave it for now and make the rest of the factory, which we're gonna actually have to do in the next episode because I'm running so late on this episode. I underestimated just how much work it was to make this factory. But the first step, which is before we make the pipes and before we make the beams and the encased beams, we've achieved 3,480 steel per minute, which is fantastic. That is an absolute mind-boggling amount of steel, and that's just from 3 iron nodes and 3 coal nodes. And as we slowly fly over top of our factory, you can see I started to put some details in, adding the exterior. It's not finished yet because we haven't finished the rest of the manufacturing, but it gives you an idea of what you can do. You can make it pretty. That's right, we said pretty. How many times can I say pretty in 5 minutes? I don't know. Anyways, as you can see, it's a thing of beauty. It's very clean, very organized. And as we fly over these furnaces, we're gonna move over to where we have a big blank. And in this blank, we're gonna put in the rest of, either we could do another line of furnaces or we can do the rest of the manufacturing. Well, anyways, that is going to be today's episode. I hope you liked it. If you did, make sure you bang on the like button down below, crash that subscribe button, and as always, love to hear from you in the comments. My name is Boom, and I'm out.